Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The National Workers' Union, NWU, has written to Prime Minister Alan Shastney in hopes of resolving the outstanding Majestic Industries settlement. In 2004, the company's officials from the USA informed the NWU that they would cease operations in St. Lucia. The union says it received only 72 hours notice and a scramble ensued. Severance and weekly wages were left unpaid. The union wrote the ambassador in the U.S. Embassy in Barbados, and they met with officials from the Department of Labor in St. Lucia, but left the union out of that discussion. The union says it was clear that the industrial matter was placed in the deep freeze. Fortunately, it says the workers discovered that the former company owned a sizable property in the same Vidbute area. The union has written 3 letters to Labour Minister Stephenson King with a petition requesting that the land owned by the former company be sold and monies obtained from this sale be utilized to pay compensation to the workers. The union is now taking its fight to the Prime Minister and is requesting that he meet with a delegation comprising the leadership of the union, 4 former employees of Majestic Industries, all to decide on the way forward. The union says former employees are determined to get their long overdue benefits, and the NWU will continue to represent their interests. The overall consensus from cannabis proponents is that St. Lucia continues to lag behind on the matter. However, Friday, the 22nd of November, marked the official launch of the Cannabis Commission, with interest groups gathering at the GIS to show support for what they consider the forward movement of the country towards establishing a cannabis industry.
St. Lucia has seemingly been on a slow crawl breaking into the world of cannabis legalization. However, the launch of the Cannabis Commission on Friday, 22nd November, has raised hopes towards a path of decriminalization and legalization of the plant. The lobbying for a national agenda to protect the interest groups invested in the fruition of ultimate legalization has not gone unnoticed. Minister for Commerce and Industry, Bradley Felix, highlights the journey St. Lucia has taken to get to the current stage of launching the Cannabis Commission.
I know that it has been a very long and complex journey, but I wish to state that the government of St. Lucia is committed to reviewing the laws on cannabis and to ensure that a balanced and holistic approach is taken. For a long time now, the cannabis industry has been subdued by regulatory restrictions all over the globe. However, the legal market is rapidly emerging as more governments legalize medical and adult use of the herb. The government of St. Lucia believes that the current legal regime is ineffective and in many cases deeply unjust. We believe that the initial classification of cannabis as a dangerous drug with no value was made without sufficient scientific research and data.
The minister went on to say that overwhelming evidence exists to prove the positive impact of a well-regulated cannabis industry.
We must therefore position ourselves to take advantage of the transformative economic benefits in the industry, given the investment potential and consequential positive impact on GDP. I believe that areas which may be a cause of concern can be mitigated with proper regulation and a well-crafted public education campaign. As the minister responsible for this initiative, I want to assure the citizens of St. Lucia that we will thoroughly consider all aspects of a regulated cannabis regime, including its impact on the youth, public health, criminal justice, and state revenue, and mitigate any potential risk associated with it.
Principal consultant Leslie Collimore says the drive towards a decriminalized state starts with educating everyone about the mandate of the Cannabis Commission.
Overall strategy is to educate everyone all demographics about the commission and its goals. Marketing and communication is emotive. It's hearts, it's minds. However, we firmly believe that you can't manage what you don't measure. So really, it begins with research, insight, sentiment, understanding how people feel about this very divisive topic. People are in great support of it. Conversely, there are persons who are adverse to it.
Individuals can become part of the conversation by going on to www.slcconline.org, where they would be able to share their thoughts on the introduction of a regulated cannabis industry in St. Lucia. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Thank you very much, Solange. As the number of bicycle patrol police officers of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force continues to rise, they are being lent a helping hand in improving their service through the goodwill of the Wynwood and Leeward Brewery and Duboulet's Bottling Company. A police bike handover ceremony was held on Friday at the police headquarters, where 6 brand new state-of-the-art bicycles were donated to the force. The drive behind the handover from the 2 companies is to contribute to initiatives in St. Lucia that benefit communities and the larger society. Managing Director of WLBL, Thibault Mesky, said this initiative is a long-time approach for creating and ensuring sustainable practices with businesses and business partners, stakeholders, and members of various communities.
Partnering with Royal St. Lucia Police Force on this initiative will support community policing, increasing the human contact in our communities and with our community members, continuing to be proactive in crime fighting as these bikes can enter areas where vehicles cannot. This initiative is one of many our company has embarked on for this year. We're proud that we were able to refurbish 2 preschools, one in Laybury and one in Vieux-Fort. We will be commissioning a playground in the town of Gros-Islet in the coming weeks, and we donated a water tank to the Flora Villa community in Canaries, which is, as you know, a water-resourced area.
Safety, Health and Environment Manager of the WLBL, Tessa Innocent, was on hand to deliver a safety message to the officers who are soon to be using the new bicycles.
So when you're riding those bikes, we want to ensure that your uniform is comfortable and it has high visibility. We want to ensure that you wear your helmet at all times. Safety first. Inspect your bike before each use to ensure that the lights are functional, tires are well inflated, brakes are functional as well. And for that, we have something called the ABCs of bikes. We're going to leave that with you officers. A is for air, B is for brakes, C is for chain. Ensure your chains are well lubricated. Travel in pairs. Health-wise, always keep yourself hydrated. You have bottles on those bicycles, and make sure you buy crystal clear, as Fern is selling.
The Assistant Superintendent of the RSLPF, Elvis Thomas, also addressed the gathering.
So I want to thank you sincerely for coming on board and partnering with us, and I know it will not be the last. It is only the beginning, and so I welcome you to Gros-Islet anytime. And so thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Mr. New Managing Director, for also supporting it. Also, I thought the lady across there was also from our traffic department when I first saw her. But I think it's a good relationship that we are starting, and let us make it a long-lasting relationship.
Thomas joked that he is hoping to get more bicycles from the company for the Gros-Islet branch where he is currently stationed. Throughout St. Lucia, the Feast of St. Cecilia is being celebrated today, the 22nd of November. The Hot 7 TV crew caught up with some of the musicians who formed part of the many pockets of sounds resonating in the city of Castries on Friday.
Music to the ears of those around the city of Castries, as various locations became mini concert areas, inclusive of a traveling band as part of initiatives for St. Cecilia's Day. Well-known cultural activist Buffalo Odlum gives details about the activities while the musical procession moved through the city.
So far, so good. Yeah, man. Well, we have about 25 to about 25 bands playing.
Meanwhile, leader of one of the bands taking part in the St. Cecilia's Day celebration, Gregory Sinai, says a late start could not put a damper on the proceedings.
Although we had a late start, but I am very much satisfied with the vibe. Today we have, of course, it's an honor to have a Dominican partner helping us out there now. So it's been great and it's been wonderful.
St. Cecilia's Day honors the patroness of musicians during a music month celebrated in November. In St. Lucia, musicians from all walks of life come out to show off their musical talents, with pockets of activities observed throughout the island. This year's showing looked to hype up the drive towards a profitable creative economy that can provide benefits to up-and-coming musical talents. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news coming up after the break.